Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing 4 party games, or 3 party games and 1 maybe semi-party game. We have Green Team Wins from 20th Century Games, we have Pinpoint from Navu Games, we have Venn from the OP, and we have Ubongo 3D from Cosmos. We're going to go through these one at a time, we'll have timestamps down below, and we're going to start with Green Team Wins. Green Team Wins from 20th Century Game is a game which you're going to be playing till, how many players? 12 players, up to 12 players the game will handle, and the general idea of this game is it's a popularity contest. You want to be on the popular team, that's the entire point. You want to be on specifically the green teams because the green team always wins. Alternatively, you can be on the orange team, and sadly the orange team does not win, even though blue, orange, and white are my favorite colors. It is what it is, but the game is going to basically be about trying to be on the popular team. To that end, you'll have cards you're playing with, different types of cards, different types of challenges, fill in the blank, we have this or that, we have best of 3. Let's go through some of these cards over here. Option 1 for the first card over here is fill in the blank. You're going to have the opportunity, the card is something party. So I am going to go ahead and on my personal board over here, using my little marker, I'm going to fill in something party. You actually go ahead, in fact, let's actually do this. Let's grab these over here, let's grab a marker, I'll have you play along with me for this round. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this in, grab this marker, and I have filled in a word, okay? Now, you should have your thing picked, something party. You ready? I went ahead and I went with house party. House party is my go-to over there. I think house party fits. You might have done block party. Some may have done birthday party. Birthday party totally won. Birthday party is absolutely... Why did I do house party? What's wrong with me? I'm not winning this game for the record. Birthday party is obviously the right choice. 4 people at the table went ahead and revealed birthday party. That is the most common answer given. All the people on the most common answer will get a point. The people on the not most common answer will not. That's fill in the blank. For the next one, we're going to go this or that. This or that is going to be, do you want to watch a dog having a dream or see a baby eat ice cream for the first time? Honestly, neither is particularly appealing to me, but let's go ahead and mark down... yeah, I went with the wrong answer again, clearly, because you chose, obviously, dog having a dream, and I chose baby. I'm just not a pet person. So again, once again, I'm on the losing team. Once again, I get no points. And again, it's about the most popular, although, if it's a tie, then the green team wins. If there's a tie, then being on the green team means you win. So whoever, if you were previously on the green team last turn, you stay on the green team whenever there's a tie. And lastly, let's go ahead and do best of 3 just one more time so you get a quick idea of how this plays. Best of 3 is, what's the worst fruit in a fruit salad? We have cantaloupe, banana, or blueberry. The worst fruit in a fruit salad. I know what my answer is. So again, those are the 3 options. You can go ahead and pick. I'll go ahead and mark this down. I'll do this upside down. Dun, dun, dun. And granted, my handwriting is terrible. I'm trying to go fast. But I picked cantaloupe, and that can barely be written as cantaloupe, but it's definitely not a banana or blueberry, so it still works. And again, maybe I actually won that time. I don't know. Maybe I did. We'll find out. We'll never really know. But that's green team wins. You're basically going to have a whole bunch of cards. Cards give you different questions. The goal is to be on the most popular team in general, and that is how you play that game. You get to a certain number of points, 29 points. Someone wins over there, and that's the game. As far as review or whatnot, the general idea of green team wins is it's a fun little... It definitely very much leans heavily into the party genre, and there's a few things that work well. The general sense of belonging, even though it's against each other, that sense of being the most popular thing is a fun thing. That arguments and fights that develop when you realize how in the world do you think that's the correct answer, especially when you believe, when you're like, oh my gosh, let's say using birthday and house party, what if house party was the most popular answer and birthday party only one person picked? The degree of frustration, the degree of conversation around how did you not pick birthday party, it has a lot of fun moments in it. Very much leans into the party genre. It does have the downside that the cards are single use. There's not a combination aspect as you see in some games. Like a game like Codenames will have different combinations of cards, produce nearly infinite ways of playing the game. In Green Team's Wins, the cards are fairly binary, so playing the same game with the same group won't work quite as well. At a certain point, you'll realize that you all think cantaloupe is the worst thing in the salad. Obviously, that's only a problem as you continue to play through it. Overall, it's a fun one. I'd say this is a 3 out of 5 for me. Party games are not quite as much my genre. I do enjoy this one. I've had fun every single time I'm playing it, but very much a party game which is not quite as much my genre, which is true for most of these games. Take that into account as we go through this. But moving up next, let's go ahead to the next one, which is going to be Pinpoint from Navu Games. Pinpoint is one that comes with like 17,000 play modes, and I'm exaggerating a bit. It comes with a bunch of play modes with cooperative play, with competitive play. I'm not going to focus on every iteration of it because we're trying to review too many games in a single video as it is, but rather I'll focus on the 3 core gameplay modes. I'm not going to focus on the exact ways you score. I'm going to focus on the general intent of it, again, because of the complexity of just the ways you have over here. But you have 3 different play modes over here to go through, and the first one is going to be, where's my die? There's a die somewhere here. But the first one is going to be trying to pick from 1 to 100. This is going to be similar to wavelength. You're basically going to have an option over here. We have cold or hot. Let's say, let's do, let's go with useless in an emergency or useful in an emergency. What is useless or useful in an emergency? You're going to roll a die to select over there. And then you're going to have your number card, which you're trying to also roll a die to select. Let's say we roll 6 over here. A 6 over here is going to be 72. So we're trying to get a 72 on a scale of 1 to 100 in terms of what's useless in an emergency or useful in an emergency. And so I'm going to put down useful in an emergency. I'm going to go ahead and say, honestly, you know what? We're going to go ahead and do this again. I'm going to fictionally pick a number over here and do this again. Same concept, but this way you can guess. So I'm going to guess number 2. Okay, so number 2 on this is that. Okay, so number 2 on this card is a certain number between 1 to 100 that I'm trying to get you to pick for useless in an emergency or useful in an emergency. And I'm going to put down useless in an emergency is a 6-year-old child. Okay, 6-year-old child is what I'm putting down as my option. Now, right about now, you guess any number from 0 to 100. Go ahead and guess. I'll give you a second. Yes, that's correct. My choice that I had to go for was 2, which is 10. So I was aiming for 10, which means hopefully you got it or close by. You're going to score points for proximity over there, and that is basically the first mode of play. Similar to wavelength if you play that. From there we have playing with real players. We're going to have the boards over here. You're going to be playing with these little player boards over here. Let's see if I can grab these out. So you're going to be playing with these player boards over here that, well, specifically this side over here as far as least to most. You're going to write down various people, either real or fictional, on the game. And this one's going to be a little harder to play with, although, no, we're not going to focus too much on it. And we're going to go ahead and you're going to put down people on the board and you're trying to figure out who is most likely to survive, least likely to survive, who is most popular, least popular. You're going to be choosing between those people, not just in who is most or least, but also to which scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, because you're going to get points for not just being right, but also bonus points for being more accurately right. It's one thing if we both believe that I am more likely to survive in an emergency compared to you. I'm using that emergency thing again. But if I'm using that more likely to survive in an emergency compared to you is one thing, but if you correctly guess that I'm, an 8 compared to you, and we both agree on that, you'll get more points as you go through it. That's game mode number 2. And then game mode number 3 is going to require these player boards over here. You're going to have these things over here as you put down different cards. You're going to grab different cards, putting them down. So we have, Beyonce over here, and we have, Galileo and Albert Einstein, and let's go Doctor Who, and we have Isaac Newton, and we have, let's say we have Fairy Godmother over here. And again, same basic concept is going to be applied over here as far as trying to pick through, what is going to be most or less likely as far as these cards. You're gonna have these cards again, the same least to most cards you're going to be going through, and the same basic idea, but this time you're doing it as far as these cards over here. So for example, just using these characters over here, perhaps the question we have is, the most likely to stab you in a prison, or least likely to stab you in a prison. Let's just go with that. And in this case, players are going to go ahead and use their markers, putting them down over here. They're going to write on their own personal player boards and then show their answer. And obviously, for the most likely to stab someone in prison, I obviously think that Doctor Who is the most likely to go ahead and stab someone in prison. But perhaps you went with Galileo or Albert Einstein, or maybe the Fairy Godmother. They can be vicious, At the same time, for least likely, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to choose Fairy Godmother for least likely. I just think that she's very sweet and caring and all that. Although maybe Beyonce is least likely. You're going to go ahead and choose different answers. Same idea as least most, just with a more of a, random personality as far as picking between different ones, choosing both the least and the most. And those are the 3 basic game modes of this game. And I almost shuffled in the cards into the wrong pile over here. Let's try not to do that. So, general thoughts, opinions, all that stuff. These cards are shuffled around. General thoughts and opinions and all that. Overall, Pinpoint captures a lot of the fun party genre. If you like games like Wavelength, you'll enjoy that, that 1 to 100 scale, and it gives you ways to engage with that in a variable way, just having a lot of replayability to the experience and a lot of pinpointing the correct answers. Similar to, Green Team Wins, you'll have a lot of discussion around the different things that happen, especially as you discuss whether the Fairy Godmother was or wasn't the most likely to stab somebody in a prison. You will have those fun conversations, so definitely captures that party atmosphere. I think the game suffers a little bit by having too many play modes with, not just too many, there's 3 play modes, but there's also solo, well, I don't think it's solo, there's cooperative play, there's not solo, there's cooperative play and competitive play, different rules around how things go, and the different rules as far as being right, and then accuracy within being right. And so there's a lot, I think I would say that it works very well at what it's doing, but perhaps gets a drop too complicated as far as being in the party genre. As the host, you kind of want to just pick a game style and just go for it. Do not distract people with 3 different game modes and different ways you can play those game modes. Based on the player group, just engage with the game you pick, the specific play mode, so that way they have one game, one mode, and one scoring thing to go through instead of the whole bundle of stuff. I would say as the person who has to know the game, there's a little bit more going on than you would expect for a party game of this weight, but as the people playing the game, I think it works fairly really well. Again, a 3 out of 5. It's more of a party game complaint than anything else. For me, party games to get to a certain level have to like really excel in terms of what they're trying to do and bring to the table. Then we have Venn. Venn is going to be another one. This one's from the OP. And this is going to be a game of Venn diagrams, as you might imagine by looking at this over here. You're going to be creating these Venn diagrams on the table. I'm going to put these down over here. Let's put these down, just creating our little Venn diagrams. And then there's going to be 2 different teams, and players are trying to, and there is a cooperative mode as well. Players are going to be trying to basically match up this number board. So let's see if we can try to unfold or put this down over here. Let's see if we can just get this to open. It will eventually open. I'm telling you it will. There we go. Perfect. Okay. We have our number board over here, and you're going to have specific cards you're placing down next to it. So you're going to have specific cards, let's say like this over here, trying to put them down as far as wrong. What am I doing here? I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm doing the wrong thing. We want to go ahead and put down Regal over here. I did the wrong pattern. We're going to put these down, then these down, then these down, and teams are going to have their specific Venn diagrams that are created, and those are created using these. So for example, if I have this card, I know that the Venn diagram I have is chaotic, that's machine, and it's identical. Chaotic, machine, and identical. By the way, that's going to be particularly annoying to actually do, but teams are going to have their piles of cards. You're going to have these piles of cards, you're going to divide into 3 piles, each team's going to get a pile, and now I can go ahead and just start defining which one's chaotic, which one's identical, and which one is machine. That's up to me, but I'm going to start the process of going through these over here, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put down this card. Okay, so I'm going to, I did it wrong again. I did it wrong. We're gonna select a new card so that you don't know what it is, and this way I'm gonna look at it myself. So I'm looking at this one. I got that, and that. That's harder. This is harder. We're gonna try to do this, okay, just so you can have the opportunity to pick. So it's these 12 words are on the table. Which ones those are and how those manifest. Let's try to see if we can get this done. I guess we're going to go ahead and put this, I don't even know what we're doing over here. We're going to put this card down over here so you can take a look at that. And then we have, oh my gosh, I don't know. This is terrible. This is terrible. We're going to go ahead and put this down over here. And then we can go ahead. We could try to do the intersections of different things if we want, but it's just so ridiculously hard. Okay, we're going to do this one over here, okay? So I now have 3 zones picked, at which point you can start guessing. Now, I'm not even going to try to have you guess. This is not great for a video. You have to pause and look at everything. And you can keep putting down cards, but at this point, players can start guessing. Whichever team gets first will win the game. In this case, you're trying to figure out, by looking at these clues, how these fit in different ways. And yes, you are a perfect person, because you did figure out that there's alcohol in here, which is why I had that for stout. The blue circle is stout. We had this, obviously, for leader. This person over here talking about, rural affairs and weather, obviously very leader and not, droopy plants and anything like that. So that's going to be our leader, which is 12. And then over here I had leader and half. This is the Venn diagram, leader and half over here, because I have like an hourglass divided into half. And again, a very leader looking person. You got it perfectly the first time. It is more complicated than that. It is doable. It's a little chaotic just trying to do it on camera under a timer and pressure, but that's the basic idea of the game. You keep putting down cards until the Venn diagrams are established. There's 7 different zones. There's the 3 main zones, the 3 intersect zones, and then the one glorious intersection of all 3, which rarely happens, but when it does, is very, very cool in the game. And yes, by the way, that was my card over here. 11, 12, and 7 were those options. That's Venn diagram. You're trying to basically come up with patterns and pairings and try to figure out the overlapping between different intersections, and the cards you get gives you a lot of variety for potentially actually finding those. That I would say, for the most part, as far as my review of Venn diagram, this is a tough one, because Venn diagram, and honestly, is very similar to wavelength in terms of my opinion of wavelength, which is not in this review, and my opinion of Venn diagram, which is Venn diagram has moments of absolutely insane, wow, I cannot believe we just did that. It has those moments. It has those intersections where you find a card that sort of halfway fits, and players look at the cards, look at the options, and they figure out what your 3 wards are. They figure out the Venn diagram of your things. By the way, technicality, they don't have to exactly guess which one of yours is yours. They just have to get your 3 wards correctly. But usually it happens that way. But there are moments of insane feeling like you're exactly on the same wavelength, feeling like you're exactly communicating with each other, getting what you need done. It does have those moments, and they are very cool. The rest of the time, it's, I would say, inferior to other games in this genre. Other games in the genre are trying to match images to various clues in different ways, anything from Dixit to all the other games in the genre that I'm forgetting at the moment. But I think Venn diagram is good at giving us another opportunity of how you explore these pictures matching up with words kind of puzzles, but I think that it has moments of incredibly coolness happening, and then far more moments of I'd rather be playing a different game instead. For me, that one's a 2.5 out of 5. And then lastly, we have Ubongo. Ubongo 3D from Cosmos Games. This one is a little less party. I wasn't entirely sure whether to include in this video, but I went ahead and did so because why not? But this one's a little less party. Let's go ahead and roll a die over here. And we got that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and grab these. So what I'm doing over here is I went ahead and rolled the die. Rolling the die is going to choose one of these. And again, we're focusing a little bit less on the exact how to play and a little bit more on the, let's try to find these matching things here. We got those and those and those. Here we go. So basically, in Blocus, you're going to, in Blocus 3D, in Ubongo 3D, not Blocus at all, in Ubongo 3D, you're going to be trying to, players are going to have these cards in front of them, and they're trying to score gems for completing puzzles. Every puzzle is going to be solved by having two things on your two levels of these little polyomino tiles and how they connect. Once you roll a die, you're going to select your puzzle. You're going to select the specific puzzle piece of the puzzle, and with a timer on you, you're trying to desperately try to figure out how to make this all fit. How do you line this up in a way? This won't work because this won't cross over there, so that's not going to work. Can we get this like this? Nope, that won't even work. That won't even work. That won't. There we go. Nope, nope. There we go. There we go like this. So this is going to go like this over here. We're going to pop this underneath over here. That's perfect, okay? Then we're going to go over here like this and over here like this. We just went ahead and we just did that. That is now a 2. I don't know if you can see that on the camera over here. Perfect. This is over here is now a 2-level, perfectly aligned puzzle piece that fits over there using the specific puzzle pieces. They have different levels of challenges from, you know, green to yellow to red, and like if we go through over here, we have, you know, or at least pull these out, this giant stack of cards over here. We have the red and the orange challenges as well. Different levels of complexity using more pieces, harder to establish the patterns, but the basic idea is you're lining up these pieces, you're trying to earn these gems over here and trying to earn as many points before the other players as fast as possible. Very much a puzzle vibe, a party vibe to it, while being more of a tactical, competitive puzzle at the same time as far as what it's doing. That's Ubongo 3D. This is the newest version of it, I believe. They had Ubongo, they had Ubongo 3D, they had Ubongo Dual. They've had a bunch of versions. Cosmos has had a bunch of versions of it. Over 5 million games sold. Do they mean of Ubongo? 5 million Ubongo sold? That would be very cool. That's a lot of Ubongo. But as far as opinion on this one, overall, this one is my favorite of the 4 over here, although that makes sense given that this one is a little bit less in the party genre. This one's more about the competitive, trying to figure out how pieces fit together in different ways, and it works fairly well as far as what it's doing. Like the other one, it suffers from a bit of ambient it suffers from a bit of the ambientness around the problem that what you're trying to do in the game is you're just trying to play the experience, but you also have to be mindful of the rules around it. When I'm playing Venn or Pinpoint or Green Team Wins, the points and the scoring of it is kind of a structure that needs to be in place for the sake of the game, but the core thing I'm doing is the puzzle in front of me at the moment. Sure, I'm trying to win in Green Team Wins, but ultimately I'm just trying to answer the question to align with the most popular people at the table in the individual moment. Similarly with Pinpoint, I'm just trying to get the answer right. I don't actually care about winning. Similarly in Venn, I'm just trying to get the answer right. I don't care about winning. And similarly in Ubongo 3D, I just want to race my way to the puzzle, and I don't care about the whole scoring system in play behind them. Which is why more often than not, when I'm playing Ubongo 3D, I'm honestly just setting it up either solo myself to just go through a few puzzles, or setting it up with whoever I'm playing with and just going through one puzzle at a time, not overly worrying about the scoring system, while enjoying the tactical puzzle of making all the polyomino pieces fit just right. As far as scoring, this one's a 3.5 out of 5 to me. I like it the most, while still being a bit of that ambient nature between puzzle versus strategy game tied in together in a single package. And that's these 4 games. 4 party games, 4 party or party adjacent games for you to cover in different ways. I think they all offer something different to the table. Green Team works particularly well at high player counts. I highly recommend it for higher player counts. If you want games that will accommodate, 6+, there's a lower range of games out there. This is a great one for that situation that is accessible enough as far as being party friendly and whatnot, while still giving you enough of a fun reason to dive into it. Doesn't feel purely like a mass market game. I do recommend those for those higher player counts. Pinpoint, similar. Like I said, you really want to dive into this one, giving players a specific game mode and just diving into it with that without too much variability past that. But other than that, it gives you a fun little puzzle. The 3 different game modes are all fun in their own different ways. My favorite probably is the choosing the least most from the 6 different characters. That is my favorite way to play the game. It feels like it leads to the most conversations, and also just it feels a little less ambient compared to the random number guessing that are present in the other 2 game modes. Venn is one which again gives you some really cool moments when you're really vibing with the other players, but more often than not I'd rather play something else. And Ubongo is less of a party game and more of a fun little game. I recommend this one for playing with families, kids, and whatnot, although honestly playing with other people, not the worst either. I mean, I guess families and kids are other people too. I should probably edit that out. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.